So yeah, it's been a while, but I'm back and I'm glad about that. And what I've decided to do is to take you guys on a journey with me at the moment, as I'll be recording an EP for somebody. It's 5 tracks, 7 if you include an intro and an outro, but those are more kind of ad-libby. And what I really wanted to do was to just show you guys the process and what I think about and how I do what I do a little bit more in depth than usual. The EP is for a good friend of mine. His name's Bosch. He's a rapper and he's done all his own production. So I've just finished his session now, actually the first session for one of his songs, and I want to share just the thought process that went behind it with you now that he's gone and the studio is quiet and all of the bars have been dropped. So I know it's not what you're used to seeing, but yeah, this is the empty B13 over here. We got the control room, there's my laptop. So as you can see, got Pro Tools open here. This is the sort of result of our having tracked this particular song. And basically how I like to do it when I track is, some artists like to have reverb in their ears, some artists don't. A friend of mine who's basically introduced me to the studio and settled me down when I first got here. He has a very intricate Pro Tools setup and he's a genius pretty much. I don't use his setup. Basically he sets up his sessions with 2 master outputs so that he can send an aux channel with reverb to one master output, which he routes to the headphones in the other room so that the artist can hear themselves with reverb in their ears, and we don't have to hear that in this room. We can hear them dry. I don't like to do that personally because it's complicated. So this is the finished session. What I do is I always consolidate my files into stems after I've recorded, as you can see, because they take up the entire expanse of the timeline. Pro Tools, I think, is probably the best piece of software that you can buy to record with. It's terrible for production. Workflow is horrible. I produce everything in Ableton. I would probably get an Ableton tattoo. No, I wouldn't. But I do love Ableton, and I think that they have really nailed their workflow. It's easy for me to produce in Ableton. So especially for a project like this with Bosch, was a rap project. He's got a lot of verses. So what I like to do is I like to record each verse in a separate channel. As you can see, I've got a few different channels open here, and there's only small little, let me show you what I mean. See, there's only small little audio files in these channels. Each one is just a little block. And that's because each file makes up the entire track. I don't like to record an entire song in one take. I prefer the control of being able to give the artist time to relax and think about each take and think about their enunciation, think about their sibilants, how they're pronouncing their words, T's and P's and D's and all of these. I track each verse in a separate channel, and then at the end of the project I consolidate each channel so that when I bring it into Ableton to do my vocal processing and production, I have it all nicely in time where it was when he recorded, and it's nice and natural. Bosch is new to the studio. He comes from a background of just rapping and creating flow and creating verses and bars, and so it was really quite a cool opportunity for me to just guide him through the process of getting comfortable in the studio, because it really is an intimidating thing to step into the space for the first time and hear your vocal in your ears in like super HD, recorded on a microphone that's capturing every single detail of your vocal. It's intimidating, and it took a lot of kind of coaxing to get him to a place where he was feeling happy with the sound of his own vocal and his flow. A lot of things that I needed to coach him on were finishing the ends of his words. I think a lot of artists, singers in the beginning struggle with this, is their enunciation, finishing their words properly and their phrasing. I think it's very important, and it's how to help the producer in post-production translate your performance into a really good finished product. I was reading a thing the other day that said that the majority of songs lose listeners within the first 15 seconds. And that's really telling. If that first 15-second period of the song isn't gripping, isn't interesting, doesn't grab the attention of the listener, probably going to lose them. And I think that was really important in my coaching with Bosch today. Another piece of advice that I gave to Bosch before the session was to bring 2 sets of printed lyric sheets with all his lyrics for the project, because it's really helpful for me to be able to follow, because I'd never heard his song before, to be able to follow him while he's performing, so that I can pay close attention to the details while he's focusing on the emotion of the performance. And it's extremely helpful. I can follow along, I can get a sense of your project, I can read your words, I can understand what you're trying to say, and then I can help you to execute on that mood, on that energy, on that feeling. What they care about is the energy of the song, what they care about is the feeling of the song and whether it connects to them. But I'm super stoked that I can be involved in something like this and that I get to document the process. Each session I'll put out a short vlog, probably between 5 and 10 minutes, just explaining all of the difficulties, challenges, things that we had to overcome, and all of the successes of the session and things that I need to think about going forward. It'll almost be like a bit of a journal that I can go back to. Obviously you get to watch it as well and potentially learn from my mistakes when I'm thinking about, the next time I step into studio with an artist, and I hope that it can be helpful to you as well.